Nicole is the best airing agent in the game. If you've played this game for a while, you should already know that. And if you are new, then always remember that. This is due to how strong and versatile her debuff of 40% death threat is. Really, almost all agents appreciate this very much, and so far Nicole still hasn't get power creep by an S-rank agent. Even for the exception of Raptor agents that isn't helped by death threat, Nicole is still good for Yishuan in particular due to Nicole core passive of ether damage buffing, in addition to a really good support W engine selection, and it's not only just the buff and debuff. Gameplay-wise, Nicole provides a dynamic and swift quick swap playstyle. She gives decent impact by her defensive assist, and she's really good at generating resources for the team. But sadly, Nicole is not really good for Aria, as Nicole debuff requires her to deploy her energy field to work effectively, which inherently has high anomaly buildup. There is a problem of anomaly dilution that will lower Aria overall damage. However much you give Nicole AP and attack stat to compensate for this, it will still noticeably affect the damage. And Aria playstyle of long field time inside stun to reach as much a bloom count also doesn't pair well with Nicole debuff refresh playstyle by quick swapping. Now the new arrival of Promeia brings a new idea to this discussion, since she gives 40% death threat for all a bloom damage in the team. On top of that, she also gives an a bloom damage multiplier. In paper, this looks quite promising. Promeia seems to have a Nicole level buff debuff that can be useful for Aria, and because Promeia is an anomaly character, she also can do a disorder play together with Aria inside stun, giving more damage source in the rotation. To complete the team, there are 3 possible best options: Yuzuha, Nanggong, or Suna. Now I only did about 6 hours of testing for this video, so I haven't delved deep to all the options to be able to make a concrete comparison. My initial thought for now is that Suna feels redundant for this team and doesn't give much, as her ether fails for Aria glow stick generation isn't really useful for Promeia Aria duo. Yuzuha seems to be a better option for a support third slot, but in this video, I find that Nanggong feels a lot better to root since she gives more stun. I only need to map the pre-stun resource preparation and the stun rotation damage dealing. With Yuzuha, you have to do a bloom play and ultimate outside of stun, with only 2 stun window, maybe 3 depending on the boss. Basically all of these options might work just fine, but for now I am focusing on Nanggong as the third slot. This sick Promeia gameplay is brought to you by EnjoyGM. EnjoyGM is a top-up site for ZZZ and many other anime-style gacha game. New user right now will get an 8% discount on their purchase. And as you can see here also, your first purchase would also get a 20% off discount. All you need to do is enter your UID and select your server. No game login information required. After your first purchase with the previous new member discount bonus, you'll then unlock the member exclusive pricing, which you can also apply the 8% site-wide coupon for more saving. EnjoyGM is PCI DSS certified. I use it myself and never have any problem, though if you do, there's always a 24/7 customer service to help you. The customer reviews are also good, and for my Indonesian peeps, there's a wide amount of easy payment method to use here, so you don't need an international payment method to enjoy the discount bonus. Thank you to EnjoyGM for sponsoring this video. Our target is 4 stun, with as much Ether a Bloom count by Aria and Ether Disorder by Promeia Freeze. Aria a Bloom count here might not be perfect. Stun 2 a Bloom count can be improved, and we may also get more on the last stun if we get the 4th stun faster. I think 13 and 14 a Bloom count is the highest possible, since you also need to share Aria field time with Promeia for Freeze. Also, I did miss a Freeze for Ether Disorder at the 3rd stun. You'll see it later. As Sweeper is neutral of Ice attribute, we really don't want to hit a Bloom on a Freeze if possible. That's easy to do with Aria, but kinda not with Promeia since most of the time we use her EX to close a corruption for Disorder, which is a shame because Promeia a Bloom multiplier is higher than Aria. Promeia corruption a Bloom will always be higher damage than Aria a Bloom, but Aria a Bloom has higher frequency. I think Promeia didn't hit too much a Bloom on Freeze in this run that can be avoided. Now let's talk about the score. It's not that good, is it? The damage distribution shows that Aria deals the majority of the damage, which lines up with our plan, make Promeia a support for Aria damage dealing. This may be due to Sweeper Ether weakness. If the boss also Ice weak, maybe the spread would be different. So thus our hypothesis of Promeia as a support for Aria doesn't hold up. In terms of playstyle, I really don't think so, since this team feels really good to play on the Aria side. But the numbers speak for itself. The difference is basically too high between Promeia Aria duo and Aria hypercarry with support, which makes sense. There is some flaw in this team comp. There's no attack buff on the team, no supportive drive this effect, which result in the low damage. The disc building here is also horrendous by the way. Everyone wants Phyton Melody disc, so I'm literally running out of Phyton's disc to equip them. Promeia 40% dev threat and a Bloom multiplier is not enough to carry Aria after all. Maybe it is also due to Sweeper being half defense boss, but 40% dev threat should still be good even in this context, which is a shame since the synergy is there. Promeia buffed the Bloom damage of the team, she also closed Corruption for Ether Disorder, Nanggong gives force stun and debuffs the enemy. Remember that Aria Bloom has higher damage inside stun. That's also why I feel Nanggong feels a lot better than Yuzuha for Aria Promeia duo. And every Aria Bloom generates corrosive chill for Promeia. So resource-wise, the team doesn't feel bad either. But maybe that's also due to Metamorph buff free energy, which reminds me, when Nanggong just released, I tried a lot of her team variant. One is double anomaly Nanggong team. Last time I tried, there's no double anomaly Nanggong team that feels good to play. I think the one with the most potential was Piper Vivia Nanggong, but that team has a bad energy problem. Every team that I tried at the time has the same problem though. They also can't really build anomaly good enough outside stun. So trying this Aria Promeia Nanggong team now and feels it play really well is actually surprising to me, even though it is severely helped by the DA buff free energy. Yes, the score is not that high compared if you play Aria or Promeia separately, but screw that, it's 2026, being fixated on just the score is not cool anymore. You may have noticed in the gameplay, the routing here is to concentrate stun time for Aria, with Promeia swap in for Chain Trigger and proc freeze over Corruption. This team game plan, at the core of it, is Aria game plan, so the rotation is very different compared to Promeia Hyper Carry. For outside stun, Nanggong deals days for the next stun, and Promeia spend her full corrosive chill to build Ice Anomaly. Promeia shouldn't trigger freeze outside stun, because the idea is that the Ice Anomaly that she builds outside stun is used to trigger disorder in the next stun. To get 4 stun, I find that hoping for at least one defensive assist with Nanggong on every pre-stun is the best routing, which is an RNG part of the run. But it's not that hard to happen. You just really want to hope the yellow glint happen fast, but still gives Promeia time to build Ice Anomaly for the next stun setup. Aria doesn't have a lot of field time outside of stun, other than spending some overflow glow stick or preparing it for the next stun. Note that Nanggong ultimate gives 4 glow stick for Aria. It is important you account those for Aria resource generation. And as Promeia is a new character, I display some input notation at some part of the run that might help understanding her gameplay. Her animation is really flashy and quick, so it might be confusing what happened on some part of the rotation. I think they are quite self-explanatory. The important one is her Bloom ultimate cancel. You want to wait until her EX Bloom is inflicted before using her ultimate to cancel it for chain trigger. Otherwise, the Bloom will not be proc, which is a damage loss.